Hello everybody, welcome along to this video. Mr. Johnson teaches Macbeth Act 2, Scene 4, part of my quick revision series, going through all of the key scenes, in fact all of the scenes from Macbeth. So this is a summary of that scene. This is the fourth and final scene in Act 2, so a relatively short act, but a lot has been packed into it. A reminder then that Macbeth is part of your English Literature GCSE, and you'll find it on paper 1, and that's in section A, the first question that you have to answer on your exam. So without further ado, let's go through this, a relatively short scene. So in summary, Ross, who's one of the Thanes, remember, Ross and an old man are discussing what's happened since Duncan's murder. Macduff comes in and reports that the king's sons have fled, which makes them look guilty. Macbeth has then been left to become king without either of the king's sons there. Macbeth is the next person in line to the throne, it's been decided. Macduff says he's not going to be attending Macbeth's coronation, a coronation being when the king or queen is actually given the crown and officially becomes it. Macduff decides that he is not going to attend Macduff's coronation, and we'll look at that in a minute. So key characters in this scene then, well there are three of them. As I said already, Macduff and Ross are both Thanes. The old man makes an appearance here and is not seen again. And here we go with the scene then. So it's outside Macbeth's castle. We've got the old man and Ross having a conversation here. So as I've labelled on the first bit, the old man talks about 70. It's an old-fashioned way of saying that he's basically been alive for 70 years. And he cannot remember a time with such dreadful things, such strange things. He describes there this sore night. So almost like the nighttime has been upset by what's going on. Ross then replies, good father, not literally meaning his father, but an older person, given a title of respect, good father. Thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act, threaten his bloody stage. So as I've labelled there, some real pathetic fantasy, but talking about the heavens, we're talking about the skies here. They've been troubled, so they're upset with man's act, with something that humans have done on earth has upset the heavens. And therefore the heavens threaten his bloody stage, almost like the stage being the ground in this sense. He goes on to say, just after that yellow part, by clock 'tis day, so it's according to the clock it's daytime, yet night strangles the travelling lamp. The travelling lamp is another word for the sun, because it travels across the sky and it gives off light like a lamp does. It strangles it. I mean, there's a really powerful verb right there for you. And basically, yeah, it's almost sort of mirroring these dark themes going on here. Line 10, darkness does the face of earth entomb. To entomb is almost to like cover up and bury. So it's almost like the earth is being suffocated and buried in darkness. It's really, really meant to sort of reflect and show the audience just how evil Macbeth's actions are and the consequences it's having on the planet. And the old man goes on to talk about how he saw a falcon being killed by an owl, which is really unusual. It's an unnatural event because hawks are predators and owls are as well, but hawks are big predators, birds of prey. So to see that is again just reflecting this unusual feeling. Ross goes on to talk about Duncan's horses, so King Duncan's horses, how amazing they are, and yet they almost seem to be trying to break out of their stalls where they are and being disobedient, even though they were normally such good horses. The old man throws in a line of, "'Tis said they eat each other," which is a very odd idea, basically. But again, it all reflects the unnatural imagery and the world being upset and unsettled. In comes Macduff then, and there's this brief conversation asking, Ross basically wants to know, is there any more about the bloody deed, which means the murder, and who it was that committed it. Duncan replies there, Macduff there replies, where I put the arrow at the bottom, it looks like Duncan's guards were responsible for the murder. Macduff replies at the top there that Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, have stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed. By running away, it makes the king's sons look suspicious as part of the murder. Then Ross replies basically about the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth, he says there on line 37. Macduff says he's already named, he's gone to Scone to be invested, so he's already gone to be given the crown and part of a coronation. So off he goes. Ross asks him at the top there, will you to Scone? And Macduff says, no, cousin, I'll to Fife. Macduff isn't attending the crowning, which again gives us this suggestion that he is not happy with Macbeth. There's sort of a tension riding up between them then. And that is the end of the scene. A very brief scene, just rounding off the events. It basically sets up the beginning of Act 3 when Macbeth is king and we see him as king. So between this scene and the next scene, we as an audience now know to expect to see Macbeth as king, and of course Lady Macbeth will then be queen. Oh, too far. Some key themes here. Well, once again, we've got the idea of disrupted nature. In fact, ever since the murder of Duncan, and even actually Act 2, Scene 1, just before that, we've had this really sort of lots of ideas of disruption, lots of pathetic fallacy, and the supernatural as well. These things which are happening which shouldn't be, but seem to be. So it's not natural, it's beyond that, it's supernatural. Some quick revision questions which would help you check your understanding of this scene then. So you could pause this slide and have a little look at those. And I finished with that slide really, as I've just mentioned to you in the last minute. Disturbed nature being a running theme of this act, as well as being in this scene. And you'll see more of it as we go through the play as well. So thanks for watching this, a very quick run through of that scene. I wish you the very best when it comes to writing about Macbeth for your exams, and goodbye.